Hi everyone, it's Trisha Roberts, the Arts Educational Coordinator here at the Plymouth Arts Center in Plymouth, Wisconsin. Today I'm going to be showing you how to make the Joy embroidery hoop ornament. As always, happy holidays from the Plymouth Arts Center. We hope that you're well. To get started with our Joy ornament, let's unpack our kit. The first thing you should find is a piece of fabric. This is our buffalo print, okay, our buffalo plaid. Okay, so you should have a piece. You should have 1 4-inch embroidery hoop. You should have your iron-on decal Joy. Now when you look at it from the sticky side, okay, it'll look backwards. But when you iron it on, I promise it'll look the normal way. You should have a burlap bow, pre-tied. And finally, you should have a piece of black string. We'll use this for our hanging element. You'll also find your instructions, so you can follow step by step along with me. The other items that you are going to need today are an iron turned on to the highest setting. That's typically the cotton or the linen setting. Please make sure too that the steam is turned off. You'll also want a hot glue gun, okay? So adults, this project is really for an older kid with a lot of adult supervision. So please, please, please be careful when you're using our heating elements. All right, our second step, okay, is to make sure everything's plugged in, our hot glue gun's on, our iron is heating up, and we are going to iron on our Joy to our red fabric. Now your fabric might have a little bit of a crease in it, so we're gonna take care of that right away. You should have an ironing board too. I don't have an ironing board here with me, so I'm going to create a safe pad for myself to iron on, okay? Kind of whip this around. All right, so I have a nice safe pad. My iron is plugged in. I'm gonna feel it that it's getting hot. I wanna see that it's set to my highest setting, okay? And while I'm waiting for it to heat up, I'm going to just give my fabric a little bit of its own iron session, okay? It might have gotten creased from being folded in the back. So I'm gonna just go over it just a little bit, okay? Now, something that's good to do before we iron on our decal, because when we iron it on, it's permanent, it stays, okay? You wanna kind of plan where it goes. So I'm going to just gently put it on my, my fabric here. Then you wanna take your embroidery hoop and you wanna double check where that's all going as well. So you can choose if you want to have your Joy running with the lines. Okay, I'm gonna show you here. You could have Joy running with the lines like this, okay? Or you could have it going, you know, diagonal. You could put it on like this, okay? So decide, pre-plan as you're waiting for your iron to heat up which way you'd like your Joy. I am going to do this one diagonal, I think, because I think that's pretty cool. Then I'm going to center it on my fabric. Again, and I'm gonna double check to make sure how I want that to look in my hoop by placing that on top, okay? So a good planning session. Our next step is ironing on our decal. Now, if you've never done this before, it can get a little bit tricky. It's always a good idea, because we don't know the strength of our iron sometimes, to put a thin kitchen towel over on top of your project, okay? And then what you're gonna wanna do is take your iron and press it down and add some pressure and hold it for about 30 seconds. So I'm gonna watch my timer here a little bit and hold this on for 25 to 30 seconds. What this is doing is taking the vinyl and adhesing it to the fabric. So it's called a heat transfer vinyl. And again, I'm applying some pressure because you want it to stick. Now, it may not stick the first time, that's okay. We're gonna play around. I'll show you some troubleshooting that you can do. Sometimes it takes a second try or a little bit longer time, or not a kitchen towel at all. Okay, that was about 30 seconds. I'm gonna pull this off gently, lift it. I'm gonna peel back my towel, and then I'm going to slowly, okay, it'll be a little warm, so be careful, slowly peel my transfer paper, that clear paper, off. You can see, and luckily for me, it worked the first time, so I'll show you that here. Oh, it's backwards. Sorry, but I promise it's facing the right way, okay? So now I have Joy all ready to go. Now let's say you peeled back and the letters are sticking still to that plastic sheet. If that's your case, that's okay. Repeat the step again. More heat, maybe 15 to 20 seconds this time, just because it's already started the heating process, okay? If it's still not working, try again, but without the kitchen towel on top, okay? The other thing I'm gonna do while I have my burlap bow here, again, these were packaged pretty tightly together, so I might just use my iron just a little bit to flatten out my bow, kind of zhuzh it back to life, okay? And so it lays the way that I'm hoping it will. And if you still have any creases, okay, flip over that fabric and iron out any creases. Excellent. Our next step, step 3, is to place our fabric in our embroidery hoop. Now, if you've never used one of these before, that's okay. There's a little bolt and screw at the top. You're going to loosen, okay, your embroidery hoop so the middle comes out. Then you're going to put your fabric on top of your inner embroidery hoop circle and then replace on top, okay, your larger circle. You might have to twist this out again just a little bit so it covers, okay? And as you can see, I put mine on and my joy is a little bit closer to the top and I want it closer to the bottom. So this is a great testing and planning stage 2. The fabric and the hoop are pretty forgiving, okay? So I would definitely test it a couple times before you tightened it. Make sure that you get it exactly how you want it, okay? This is better, I like this. So you can see, because I'm putting my bow at the top, I wanted to scoot the joy down just a little bit. Then we're going to tighten. Step number 4. We're gonna turn our ornament over and we're going to hot glue the fabric down, okay? So you can choose to do that. Otherwise, you can choose just to cut the fabric off, or if you wanna have a little bit of a fabric border, you can cut the fabric around to give it a delicate border, okay? I'm going to choose to hot glue my edges down. Okay, so I'm gonna quickly just run some hot glue. Again, please be careful. Make sure there's an adult supervising. If you are an adult, you should be careful as well. I've burned myself many a time on hot glue guns here. So you just want to be extra careful. Go. So I'm going to put a little hot glue in there, and then I'm going to fold down my fabric. Okay? So it doesn't pop out in the front. Again, it's warm, so please be careful. Little hot glue on the inside of that hoop. And then we're gonna fold it down. You can always go back and cut off some of the extra later too after you fold it and glue it. There. So you can see now we just have the joy out front, and take this all out. And the fabric is tucked behind. Okay, our 5th and final step is we're going to glue on our bow and we're going to glue on our hanging string. So again, with my hot glue gun, please again be careful with the hot glue. Going to, at the top of my hoop, I'm gonna put a little dab of hot glue. You can see right here at the top of my hoop, I put a little dab of hot glue. I'm gonna take that bow and I'm going to attach it. Now, I'm going to play around with this too, and I'm going to add a little bit more hot glue. So right now, right, it's kind of going on like my bangs here, covering the face. We're going to instead pull these up and kind of reinforce some more hot glue. Okay. So I'm gonna just do a little dab of hot glue on either side so I can secure my burlap ribbon. Please be careful, burlap has little holes in it, so you want to be very careful when you are, you can see I did it on this side, attaching. I want to be careful not to touch it. And then I'm going to peekaboo on the other side as well. So you can see that beautiful lettering. Okay, so again, just a little bit of hot glue. I'm going to put this on, okay. I'm going to push around it, not on where the hot glue was. I'm going to hold it there so it dries. Okay, my bow's been attached. Finally, I'm going to tie a knot on my string to make the loop for hanging. There we go. And again, just a little bit of hot glue. I'm gonna put it right back here, okay? Right behind the closure unit on the embroidery hoop. A little bit of hot glue, gently placing it down, okay? Putting the knot in that hot glue. As we're letting our hot glue dry, I just wanted to say happy holidays once again from the Plymouth Arts Center. We miss you. We hope you are safe and well. Again, when you're hot gluing, please, please, please be careful. Okay, and there we go, our Joy embroidery hoop